I am so excited to have Sheri Ketner joining us on Faith and Friends. I feel like you're a co-host. You're not really a guest.
Thank you.
know.
Thanks for inviting me today. I'm just so excited to be here.
3 years ago now. It's hard to believe. It was 3 years ago. The auction was completed. You said your goodbyes to everyone on television, and off you went to the difficult place of Florida. What a struggle to have to go live in that nice weather.
My parents lived down there, and we would visit, and the more time we spent down there, the more time we thought we wanted to be down there. So we bought a little mobile and just had a really good time. The more time we went back and forth, we just knew it was a place God was calling us, and it's been obvious that we heard him correctly.
Oh, that's good to hear, because we have certainly missed you here, but you know,
thanks.
when God sends someone, we don't want to get in God's way.
Oh, yeah.
So just briefly let me know, how has God worked in these last 3 years? What's been so great?
It was amazing. One of the things that I was dreading was finding the church, because Family Christian Center up in Defiance, it was my home church. Started with 15 people in a Bible study group. When I left, there was over 1,000 people between a couple of services. So I was dreading that. Got on my bicycle, just kind of scoping the area out, and went by Church on the Rock in Palmetto, and I just felt the Lord say, go to this church, try this church. So Sunday I did, and I've not left. They're kind of putting me into, I oversee the small group coaches, some of them, and just in the outreach, heavy in the outreach, just checking on a lot of the people, kind of a little bit of a leadership. I mean, right off the bat, they loved me and I loved them. Just different things, ministering to the people in the mobile home park that we lived in, picking people up from the airport, taking them to the doctors, just connecting, heart connects, praying with people, getting some of them, a couple of them saved, you know, bringing them to the saving knowledge of Jesus. It's been good. It's been good.
God knew Sheri Ketner had to go to Florida to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Well, I don't know.
It sounds like that's what you've been.
It's not all been easy. There's been struggle, because, you know, when the face of God or the hands of God come into a place, Satan rises his head too. So there's been some struggle like that too. But you know what? That's all part of the game. You know? Yeah.
So 3 years you've been down there. Of course, part of it also was for Keith.
Yes.
I mean, there was a positive reason for Keith to move there for his health.
You all know, because you've prayed through all of his open heart surgeries and all of that, and that was 5 years ago. I'd spent a month at Ross Hospital in Columbus, and then another month in a nursing home. And through that, just had heart issues and all of that. Found marvelous doctors, cutting edge doctors, because that's all they deal with is old people down there, you know. But as the time went on, you know, his heart got a little less. He had an ejection fraction of 17, and healthy people have maybe like 55 or 60, somewhere around that. Just every doctor's visit or every congestive heart failure episode he had, things kept going worse and worse. And the last 2 months he's been in and out of the hospital. 3 or 4 times I lost track, and I would spend the nights with him and just be with him. And the night before he died was an emergency. Had to call the ambulance in, and he was in a lot of pain, and he'd had started dialysis, and he needed a gallbladder surgery, and they were trying to get him healthy enough to take that gallbladder surgery, just issue after issue. And that morning, the doctor came in to give the report, who is more than a doctor, he's a friend, and he gave us the plan of action that they were going to go in for the gallbladder, because he wasn't going to have a chance unless they got that. And he prayed with us, and I just kind of, well, he had one question. He said, is the paperwork in order? Meaning the DNR. And that he didn't have to say the words, but we all knew. And I said, well, we need to change that up a little bit. I think that, you know, I don't want him to. He had this fear that his defibrillator would go off, and he knew that he was dying, and it was going to try to keep, he had that fear. So I asked the doctor, I said, is there a way we can turn that off so he doesn't have to be afraid? And he was pretty much out of it by then. You know, they'd sedated him for the pain that he was going through. And as the story goes, we got the paperwork corrected, and the doctor prayed. And he said, and a strong Catholic, Christian Catholic guy, just amazing, prayed with us, and he said, Keith, you're going to know. You're going to know. You're going to make this decision, which we know that God makes the ultimate decision. And within minutes after the doctor left, knowing that we had a plan, that surgery was coming, and they're going to put a port because his veins had all blown out because they'd been used up so much. And actually, the doctor's parting words were, "I don't like the way he's laying," which he had started in fetal. And this part is the part. So he started breathing the way people do when they're on their way out, and just prayed over him. And I'd say, "Jesus, you know he loved you. You know that he did." And things started progressing. Called the nurses in. They closed the curtain. I wouldn't leave the room because I was with him to the end. So anyway, we came up, brought him up for the funeral. I'm going to take him back to be buried because one of his words to me was, "I'm coming back to Florida, right?" I said, "Yes, you are." So it was all good. So I've been able to spend with about 2 weeks with the family and be staying for a wedding, my nephew's wedding, this Saturday. So there's some life coming.
Good.
And then, and I know that you have a wedding this weekend too. Awesome.
Yep.
So
God's
yeah.
it's the seasons of time, and I think we could
Yes.
sit and talk about this
Absolutely.
for hours probably. That God does give and take away.
He does.
But He's in it all.
He is the author.
And He's surrounding us through it all.
Absolutely, and great friends.
And He's looking at you right now and saying, "Sheri, I have a life for you."
Yes, yes.
You know, and it starts with the weddings, and it starts with
Right,
exciting things
right.
and all of those wonderful things. But as I ponder, September 17th was the day.
Yes, that's
you
correct.
saw Jesus.
That's
face
right,
to face.
and we know it. We
And-
know it without a shadow of a doubt.
And as I pondered that, and I was looking through the pictures on Facebook that you have, and I just praised God for that time. I felt like, you have done so much for us here in West Central
Thank
Ohio,
you.
and you still are. But
Thank
I feel
you.
like God just said, "No, I've got 3 years
Yeah.
where it's Sheri and Keith."
Yeah.
And I'm just so thankful
regrets.
for that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But, as time goes on, I know there's healing, and some friends whisked me away this last weekend to Joyce Meyer's conference in St. Louis, and I got to hug Jennifer,
Yeah.
and Ira, who I know a lot of you remember Ira, and it just was another bit of a family reunion, and again, just felt like friends just swooped me up, hugged me, and are just helping me through this.
Absolutely.
We need friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
Those aren't going to go away.
No.
We're still here for you.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sheri, for
You're welcome.
coming in and being on our show with us. You are welcome
Okay.
anytime.
All right, I'll show up.
Anytime. All right. Well, you can have your very own picture of Sheri and Keith if you are part of our newsletter mailing list. We sent our newsletters out last week, and it does include some information about Keith. And Mark has more on what you can find in this month's Take One.